Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to regress a second because I came down and was watching television on some other colloquy that was taking place, and I felt compelled, so I'm not going to talk directly on this amendment, but compelled to come down because I saw that the chairman had asked the ranking member a question, in regards to trade. And I understood very well the ranking member's response that she wasn't going to address trade because clearly this committee is not a committee of jurisdiction on trade. That's another committee. But this committee is the jurisdiction on Ex-Im Bank. And so part of the question, and what I think that everyone knows in this Congress, that there's no one that has been more of an advocate for trade than Gregory Meeks. So I'm baffled. I was baffled on the question because I can't see how someone who is a strong supporter of trade is not a strong supporter of Ex-Im Bank. It would seem to me that if we are supporters of trade, I know I am, I'm a huge supporter of Ex-Im Bank, and I don't see how, and this committee has jurisdiction over Ex-Im Bank, and we only have 18 days left before it shuts down. So I would think that we would, those of us who are pro-traders and who believe in trade, we would move steadfastly forward and to have Ex-Im Bank reauthorized.
Would the gentleman yield? Would the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Simply on one point, when the gentleman says there are 18 days before Ex-Im shuts down, the real figure I think is closer to 18 years. Should their authority expire on June 30?
Claim my time is 18 legislative days.
If the gentleman would continue to yield, I'm simply saying the bank does not shut down. Whether you like the bank, whether you dislike the bank, it is not a fact to say the bank shuts down. It will no longer be able to extend new extensions of credit, but they have credit extensions lasting 18 years, so they don't shut down in 18 days. They'll be around for 18 years.
Reclaiming my time, but they will cease the ability to do new transactions, which in effect will keep it from doing what it does to help us level the playing field as we do trade.
Will the gentleman yield?
I yield.
The gentleman asked a good question. Why would someone be in favor of TPA but be opposed to extending authority to Ex-Im Bank? Let me just give you an example of why a member from Kentucky would take that position. We support exports of our products like Kentucky coal, and TPA will facilitate opening up new export markets for this resource that provides a lot of jobs in my state. Ex-Im Bank, however, takes a very discriminatory position and picks winners and losers, and specifically will not finance coal-fired power projects overseas. So while TPA holds great promise to create jobs and restore some of those 8,000 coal mining jobs we've lost in the last 4 or 5 years under this administration's EPA policies, the TPA has a chance to restore those jobs. Ex-Im specifically will not. Ex-Im discriminates against this particular
time belongs to the gentleman from New York.
TPA gives the President the authority to negotiate trade deals. That's what TPA does. What we're talking about now with Ex-Im Bank is to make sure that we are leveling the playing field, because we know that some of our companies that we want to trade and to be able to have the ability to trade, we want to level that playing field. And we know that by having Ex-Im involved, they have the financing to be equivalent to the financing that's taking place with some of the other foreign companies that are financing their companies.
Will the gentleman yield again?
No, I won't yield right this second, because what we're trying to do and what is to continue for our trading, our companies here that are trading abroad, to make sure they have a level playing field that creates jobs also for Americans right here.
Will the gentleman yield?
I yield.
So Ex-Im is not creating a level playing field in the energy space. The problem is Ex-Im is creating an unlevel playing field because it's picking winners and losers in the energy sector. Ex-Im specifically discriminates against this particular type of energy production in exports. And so while Ex-Im will finance a nuclear power facility, it will not finance a coal-fired power plant.
We're claiming my time. I only have 7 seconds. But what we do, we have certain environmental standards that we in Ex-Im has to live by also. And that's the reason why you talk about there being some unevenness, because we have higher standards.
Time of the gentleman has